ready? Two ten, 211, 210, 211, 210, 211, 11, 13, 30, 59, 17, 19, and 21, 21, 21, 23, and 25, and 225, and 25, 23, 4, 5, and 26, 125, going to be 600, 26, 7, 7, 7, 8, 27, 8, 9, here, 9, 30, 30, and 1, and 30, 32, 32, 32, 32, 31, 2, 33, 33, 34, and 34 here, 33, 34, 30, 33, 34, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 34, we're going to be 35 here, sort of a 234, Gibbon Bull. Well, I'm here, 135, and 35, 40, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 45 here, going to be 45, 50, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 55, 60 there, 60, now 5, and 65, 5 here, 5 here, now 5 here, 5 here, going to be 65, 70, and now 70, 70, 70, going to be 70, 70, and now 5 here, going to be 70, 70, 70, 70 here, Chris, 165, 15. Hold. 3 and a 5-year-old. 155, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 55, going to be 65, 65, 70, 175, 75, give 81, 81, 81, 85, 85, and 90, going to be 195, going to be 195, 2, and 205 here, down 10, going to be 210, 15, 20, 220, 225, and 30, and 235, 235, and 35 here, going to be 35, going to get 35, going to be 235 here, Chris, 230, 3X. Two-year-olds, 250. 255, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 60, 55, going to be 70, now 72, 75, and now 82, 82, 85, here, going to be 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 285, 85, there, going to be 85, middle of 5, here, going to be 85, Chris, 280. Hold the gate. Hold the gate. Since you said please. We're going to take one out and then leave one on and we're going to 3X. 7X in the ring. Chris, 3X. 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 This is going to be a Chris 3X, and you're going to bring back that 5405. No, we don't need her back. Oh, we don't need her back. She goes to 3X. This one goes to 7X. So just reweigh this cow. She weighed 1205. We'll put 1205? No, no, no. Just yard her out. Yard that one that just went out? She weighed 1205. Wait. Hold up. No, we don't need her back. So just put your yard out. Yeah. So go to your next ticket. Well, hey, we may not need that one back for one ticket. Okay, but 5405 is going out. She weighed 1205. She's one at 7. Oh, this is what no, okay. We got it. She weighed 1205? Yeah. Okay, we don't need her back, sorry. Yeah. 3X. Yep. 7 and 10, swaying boys, 165, and 65, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 55, and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57 to 60, and hand 2 and a half, bit of a 2 and a half, bit of 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, bit of 70, you're going to be 70, now 2 and a half, and 72 and a half, 5, and 75 here, 77 and a half, 77, 50, and 77 and a half, you're going to be 77, 50, you're going to be 77 and a half here, you're going to be 77 and a half here, Jace, 175, 40. Older cows are open here, 135 and 35. You give out 35, 40, you get 5, you get 50, you get 5. Going to be 16, now 2 and a half, now 2 and a half, bit of a 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, you get 250 and 62 and a half, 5 and 65, 65, 65, 2 and a half, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 70, you get 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 5 and 75 here, 750 and 77 and a half, now 80 and now 80 here, bit of 80 here, going to be 81, 81, 81, 80 here, going to be 80, bit 80 here, Jace, 177 and a half on 30. Nine and 10s are open here, 135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. You get 35, you get 35, 35, 40 and 35, 40, 5. You get 5, you get 45, 50, you get 50, you get 55, 55, 55, 55, 52 and a half, 5 and 55 here, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 60 and down 60. You get 60 and down 60. You get 60, bit of a 60 down 62 and a half and 2 and a half, 5 and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750 and 7 and a half, now 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half. Going to be 7 and a half here, Jace, 165, 30. 7 to 10-year-olds here. Cows got some figures, boys here. 160, now 2 and a half, and 2 and a half. You get 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 71, 3 down, 75, 75, 77, 77, 9, and 7 and 9, 81, 83, 83, 83, 81, 2, and down to 82, going to be 81, 2, going to be 81, 2 there, 2, 3, and down 3, going to get 3, tight out, 83, and 2, 3 there, going to be 83, going to be 82, bit of a 3, 83, 83 here, so 182, Chris 20. 6 to 10, way up here, 155, 55, you give out 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, now 2 and a half, now 5, and 65, 7 and a half, 70, 170, 170, 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 5, and 75 here, 50, and 77 and a half, 83, but 81, 81, 82 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to be 250, 82 and a half, but of that here, going to be 80, 2 and a half, going to be 82 and a half, going to be 80, 2 and a half, going to be 82 and a half here, so 180, Chris 20. 7 to 10-year-olds here, 155, 55, 55, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2 and a half, now 5, now 7 and a half, now 70, now 72 and a half, 5, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 73, 74, 74, 74 to 5 here, 75, 6 quarter, and 75, 6, 75, 76, 7, and 77, going to get 77, now 77, $8, and 78, now 9, going to be 9, going to get 9, going to be 9, going to get 9, going to be 9, 79, and now 70 here, going to be 9 here, and now $9, now 9 here, so 178, S3X. 7 years here, 65. And 65, 5, and 75, 50, and 77, bit of a laugh here now. 80 there, go to 81, 81, 81, 81, 80 here, $78, and 77 of hand, 78, 78, 78, 78, 77 of hand, 78 here, give it 177.50. Five and 6 year olds. Here's the Boston consignment. They're 4 and 5 months bred. Yes, sir. 2,500 and 25. Yeah, 25 and 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 27 and a half, 27 and a half, 27.50 and 27 and a half, 7 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 and 3 and 3,000. I'm going to get 3,000. I'm going to be 2,800 tonight and down high, bit of 9, 28, 9 and 28. Going to be 900. Going to be 20. Going to be 900, 28, 9 and down high. Going to be 9, bit of 9, bit of 9, 2,900 and 28. Bit of 900. Going to be 20. Bit of 900, 28, 900 here. So about 2,800. Chris 3. Four to 6 year olds are all open. More of the Boston cows. 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 0, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 7 and a half, 70, 100, 70, 100, 70, 100, 71, 2, 71, 2, 73, 74, 74, 73, 74, 73, 74, and 74, 5, and 76, 76, 7, 77, 76, 7, and 77, you get 7 tie, $8, and 78, 77, 8, 9, good to be 9, good to be 9, good to be 9, now 9, 79, 80, and 9 here, good to be 80, 89, 81, 81, 81, here, $81, here, good to be 181, $81, here, good to be $80, here, good to be 81, 81, 81, 81, bit of 1, good to be 81, here, Chris, 180 on 20. Five to 10s are open here, 155, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 60, we get 2 and a half, now 5, now 7 and a half, now 70, 172 and a half, 5, and 75 here, 3, 5, 7, and 77, 79, 79, 81, 81 here, going to be 80, and 9, 89, they're going to be 89, now 80, and 9, going to be 81, 81, 81 here, going to be 81, 81, 81, 81, 81 here, bit of 1 here, going to be 81, and now 1 here, going to be 281, 181 here, going to be 81, 81, 81, 81 here, Jace, 180 on number 40. Ball games yesterday. I was layered up, 3 layers on yesterday. Really? Cold and rainy. Eight to 10, a single test. Why does he got to do that every week? Every week. I got one little piece of grain of sand in my eye. There it goes. 155, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 62 and a half, 5, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 171, 72, 71, 2, 73, 74 here, 74 here, 74 here, 73, 74, 5, and 76, and 77, 77, 76, 7, and 77, I get 77, I get 77, I get 76, 7, and 77, 8, 77, 8, get 9, good to 9, get 9, good to 9, 80, and 81, 81, 81 here, 81, good to be 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81 here, good to be 81 here, Chris, 180, 21. 8 to 10 years old boys right there here, 155, and 55, and 55, and 57, going to be 60, going to get 2.5, going to get 5, going to be 7.5, going to be 70, going to get 2.5, 5, and 75 here, 73, 73, 74 here, 74 to mid, 5, and 76, 77, 77, 77, 77, 67, and 77 of 8, 77 of 8, 77 of 8, 78, 78, 78, 78, 78, 78, you get 8, and 78, 9, and now 80, and high, going to be 89, going to be 89, going to be 80, going to be 89, going to be 80, going to be 80, going to be 89, going to be 80, and 79, going to be 80, going to be 80, 180, 180, 180, 180, here, going to be 80 here. So 179, Chris 21. What are you Packers going to kill this summer? Chicken? Chicken and pork? Eight to 10 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7.5, 57, going to be 60, now 2.5, 65, now 7.5, now 70, 170, now 70, and now 70, 70, and 170, 70, now 970, 171, and 70, 71, here, 71, here, 72, 71, 2, 3, and 73, 3, and 72, going to be 3, 3, 72, and half, 3 here, Capitas, 172 on 3. Guess that's what you're going to kill. Order almost here, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2.5, going to get 5, 7.5, 72.5, 72.5, 71, 71, 2, 72, 3, and 74, 75 here, 75, 75, 74, 5, and 74 to 5 here, 75, 600, 75, 6, 75, 76, 7600, and 75, 76, 7, and 77, 78, 79, down high, 78, down 80, and high, going to be 80, high, going to be 80, but they do, going to be now, 80 here, going to be 80 down here, 80 here, Jace, 179, 40. Might be. Seven to 10 years old. $135, 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, and 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 40, and 40 and 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, 50, 50, 150, 150, 2 and a half, and 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57, 60, and now 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70 now, 72 and a half, 70 now, 2 and a half, 75, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 75, 600, and 75, 6, 75, 7600, and 75, 176 here, 75, 76 here, sold 175, Chris, 13, 23. Nine and 10, weigh him up here, 35, and 35, you give out 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37, 50, and 37 of that 40, and half 40, we get 2 and a half, going to be 45, 47 and a half, 50, we get 50, 52 and a half, we get 2 and a half, going to be 52, 50, now 5, and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, now 60, and now 60, now 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, we get 70, going to be 70, 71, and 72, 71, 2, 71, going to be 2, now 3, and 73, 74 here, 74, 74, 74, now 5 here, 75, 600, and 75, 67, 77, 77, 77, 67, and 77, 76, 7, and 77, 87, going to be 7, 87 here, sold 176, Jace 30. One cow's got an eye removed. Should be on there. 145 and 45, 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 59, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 2 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57, 60, and now 60, 60 now, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 70, 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 71, 2, and 71, 2, and 70 and a half, 2, 71, get 2, 71, get 2, 71, bit of a 2 here, D, 171, 2. Buck 35 and 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750 and 30, 7 and a half, going to be 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 3750 and 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, Doug, 135, 5X. Is part of the sellout? Could be. Express yourself. All right, right there, here, buck 85, 85 there, going to be 85, 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, going to be 90, 2 and a half, 95, 95, 97 and a half, 97 and a half, going to be 2 and 2 and a half, 95, and 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, now 10, middle 10, 2 $8, and 7 and a half, going to be heavy to get 9 and 10, 2 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, and 2 10, 11 and 12, 11, 12 here, and 11, 12 and 13, 13, 14, 14, 14, 15 here, 15, 16, and 16 there, going to be 216, now 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, now 17, going to be 17, 17, now 17, 17, 17, 17, now 17, 17, 17, 17, here's sort of a 216, Rob 2. Gibbon Bull 2. We need to add some to one. All of them. Here's some more. 165 and 65 and now 70 and now 570 there, going to be 170, 171, 71, 71, 70, 170, 175, 75, now 80 and 180, 75, give 80, 75, 80 and 75, going to be 80, 75, going to be 180, going to be 80 down to 5, 85, 85 and 90, going to be 195, to get 95, going to be 195, to get 2 and 95, going to be $2 and 95, to get 2, going to be 95, to get 2, going to be 195, to get 2, Bo 195, 1. Yes, they do. They got some long toes, too. $2. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2 and a half, going to get 5, 7 and a half, 70, 170 down, 2 and a half, 75 here, 75 there, 35, and 77, and 77 now 9, now 89 here, 80, and 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81 here, going to be 181, 81 1 here, going to be 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81 here, so 180, Gibbon 1, 180. I got rain, hail, tornado. I got everything. I got it all. I got it all. 220, 221, and 221, and 21, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 221, and 221, here, 221, here, 1, here, 3, 21, 3, and 25 here, 25, 23, big divide, 23, big divide, 25, 7, and 27, and 7, and 7, 25, group of 7, 25, group of 7, 25, now 7, you're out, Rob. 7. You done? Given. 226. Put him on bull. Hey, my wife's Jeep, I bought her a year ago. See, I was gone. I was out of town, and my wife's in Florida. And we got our garage cleaned out about 2 months ago just for storm season. And the lady washing our house, she said, I'm not comfortable putting your car in the garage. Oh, it's bad. Boom, boom, boom.
I was over here in Oklahoma City Friday evening, probably around, I don't know, 6:30 or 7. He got white.
He got white.
It's a lot.
$3. Woo. 235, and 235, and 35, 7, and 35, and 37, and 7, 35, 37, and 35, here, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 35, and 7, going, boys, $38, and 37, 7, 7, 9, and 9, 39, 40, 40, going to be 40, and 41, and 41, 2, 42, 41, 41, 42, 3, and 43, 3, 43, 42, 3, and 43, 3, 43, 43, 43, here, 43, 3, 43, 3, here, sort of a 242, Gibbon Bull 2. JoJo. Under 75, yes, 75, 75 here, 75, 77, group of 80, we get 2.5, group of 5, group of 87, group of 90, we get 2.5, we get 5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 15, now 2, and 2.5, we get 2.5, group of 205, and 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 15, now 10, and 210, bit with 10, group of 10, 210, bit with 10, 210, 210, 210, 210, and 10, bit with 10, 210, here, Gibbon Bull, 207.5, put him on number 2. No more straights ever again. One 85 there, group of 85, 85, 85, 87, 87, 7, 7, 7, 7, 87, group of 87, 50, 87, group of 87, group of 87, group of 87, group of 87, 50. Tag, can you sell any grass-fed beef? 87.50, 85 there, group of 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 65, 165, 7.5, 70, 2.5, 75, 77.5, 80, give 82.5, 82.50, 81, $80 one here, group of 81 here, group of 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, $81 one, group of 81 here, S, 180 on 2. Yeah. 185, 85 there, group of 85 there, group of 85, 85, 87 and a half, 87 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, group of 9, 2 and a half, 95, 7 and a half, group of 2, 2 and a half, 5, and 2 and a 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 205, and 205 and a 5, 5, 5 here, Doug, 202 and a half, 7. Last week. Well, I heard there was Livingston's selling like under 1,000 just then. $250. 255, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 255, and 255 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 255, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 2 and a quarter, and 225, 2 and a quarter, 225, 55, 225, 55, 225 and 30, and 25, get 30, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30, 30 here, Ricardo, 225 on 2. Put him in your feeding pen. Bring $3 this time next year. $3,000 gum. 6 years, and she's 4 months bred. 2100 and 21 and 2100 here. 2100 here. 21 and 2100 here. $1.50, $55 and 55 and 55 and 55, 60, 2 and a half, 55, 7 and 70, 170, 170, 170, 170, 170 and 70 and half 70, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 5 and 75 here, 175 here, 75, 75, 75. 75 here, Cavaniss 172 and a half, 5. 8 years, and she's 4 months. She's crippled, 155 and 55 and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 70 and 2 and a half, 72 and a half, 75 and 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 75 and 75, 75 5 here, 75 here, D 172, 52. What's wrong with these cows today? D2. Yeah. Did you get any rain?
We got 3. I got 3.
3?
Perfect. For the rodeo, it's going to be green.
8 years, she's 5 months. Daughter 65, and 65, 7 and 70, 170, 170, 70, 70, going to be 72 and a half, 75, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, give 80, and 182 and a half, 2 and a half, 85, 85, 85, 87, going to be 87, 190, 190, 190, 2 and a half, and 95 here, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, going to be 195, and 95, 5, going to be 195, 95 here, Chris, 192.50 on 16. Made him $2. Made him $2. What is it? 10 by 8, 2,000. 2,100 and 2,100 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2,100 here, 21, 2, 22, 22, 22, 3, and 23, 3, 4, and 23, 4, and 24, 5, and 25, 5, 600, and 25 and a half, 600, and down 6 and a half, and now 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 here, going to be 2,700, and 2,700, and 7 here, 7 by 27, 27 here, S, 26 and a half, 7. 3 years, 5 months, 2,100 and 21 and 2,100 here, 21 here, 21, 21, 2,100 here, 21, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 600 and 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 2 by 5, 26, 7 and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 26, 7 and 727 and 20, 700, going to be 20, 700, Chris, 2,600 on 3. Nice little cow, she's gentle. She'll gentle down, I like her. There's one. Be it. Cripple bull, 150. 155, 55, 55, 60, 55, group 70, 55, group 80, 55, group 85, 90, 195, 95, 95, 95, 2, now 205, 205, 210, 15, 210, 15, and 10, 15. You want some, Rob? 210, 15, and 10, 12 to 5, group 10 and 12 to 5, group 10 and 12 to 5, 10 and 12 to 5, 15, and now 15, and 12 to 5, 15, now 15, 12 to 5, 15, 15, 15, 15, S, 212 and a half, 16. 175, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, give 80, give 5, group 90, 95, you get 90, 190, 85, 90, 85, 90, 95, 95, 95, 95, 2, group 2, give 5, group 2, 105, and 10, 210, 15, and 15, 20, and 25 here, 25, 25, 25, 30, we get 235, we get 35, 40, we get 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45 here, 45, 5 here, 45, 5 here, sort of a 240, Chris 9. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 57, 57, 750, 57, 57, 57, 7, 7, 60, and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, group 2 and a half, Jupiter over here, 2 and a half, 5, and 165 here, D, 162 and a half, 2. Mike, what you doing? I see. Well, go on, get past. Must know something back here. $125, 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, 125, 30, 25, 30, 125, 30, 30, 30, 5, and 35, 40, 40, 5, 50, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 5 here, 55, 5 here, 55, 5 here, 55, 5 here, Cowboy, 150. No, sir.
I don't. Not right off the top of my head. Thank you.
Six and no pun, bless you. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, bless you. Now 60, 57 and a half, and 60, and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 7, 7, 70, 70, 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72, 50, and 70, 2 and a half, group 70, 2 and a half here, Jace, 170 on 30.
What do you
think they're worth?
You might have partied too hard the other night, John.
Uh-oh. $1 pound. What are you going to put in the comment, Lid? 110 and 110. Let her describe that bull. 110 and 110 and 110. Could be 110. Could be 110. 20. Could be 10. 20. Could be 110. But 20, 30. We get 30. We get 40. We get 40. 30, 40, 50 and 60 and 50, 60, 150, 60, 55, 60. Now 65 and 65 and 65 and 65 here and now 5 here. Now 70 and now 75 here. 75 here. 75 here. Sold 170. Ricardo. He could feed a little small village in Africa. $165 and 65 and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 75, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, give 82 and a half, 82 and a half, 82, 50, 82 and a half, 82 and a half, group 82 and a half, group 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 85, now 90, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 92 and a half, 5, 92 and a half, 5, 95 and 5 here, Bo, 192 and a half, 1. Tired auctioneer. 55, 55, little hang down there, 155, 55, 57 of my group, 60, we get 2 and a half, 65, 7 and a half, 70, 170, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 72, 50, and 72 and a half, 5, and 75, 50, 77 of my group, 80, 182 and a half, group, 80, the 2 and a half, group, 80, the 2 and a half, group, 80, we get 2 and a half, group, 80, we get 2 and a half, here, D, 180, 10. Hello, Dusty. She'd be good eating, wouldn't she? Be fat. Yeah. Anybody need something to butcher? $1.50. $1.55, and 55, and 55, 60, 2.5, 5, and 65, 7, 70, 170, 170, 2.5, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, and 75, 77, 77, now 81, 81, 82 and a half, 82 and a half, going to be 2 and a half. You out of here, Chris? 182.50, 82 and a half, 80, 2 and a half, going to be 80, 2 and a half, going to be 80, 2 and a half here. S 180, 21. Pretty good eating. 6-year-old boys right there here, 155, 55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 87 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, now 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 72 and a half, 75, and 75 here, 77 and a half, 77 80, and now 82 and a half, going to be 82 and a half, 5, 85, 87 and a half, going to be 87 and a half, going to be 87 and a half, going to be 87 and a half here, 87 and a half here, Bo, 185, 1. Two-year-old, she's open, $1.85, 85 there, going to be 85 there, going to be 85, 85, 85, 90, and 95, going to get 95, going to be 2, going to get 5, going to be 10, going to get 15, now 15, 200, 15, 20, and 25 here, 25, 25, 25, and 30, going to get 35 here, going to be 35, 40, 5, and 45, going to get 50, 5, and 60, 265, 265, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, now 5 here, Chris, 260, 7X. She's a little 5-year-old cow got $2. $2.05 and $2.05. We get 5 here. 5. We get 5. We get 5. We get 5. 10. 210. 15. 210. 15 and 210. 15 and 210 and 15 and 10 and 15. We get 50. 50. 20 and 225. Going to be 25. Now 30 and now 30. We get 5. 35 here. 35 there. 35 and 235. 5 here. 5 here. 1. 230. Florida Pond, 210, 210, 20, and 210, 20, we get 210, 20, we get 210, 20, we get 210, 20, but 210, 20, and 210, 20, going to be 20, going to be 20, going to be 20, going to be 20, $2 a pound, 205, and $2.05, we get 5, 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 we get 5 here, Bo 1, $2. Did I say 2? Forward open. Yeah, a little 3-year-old, 210, 20, and 210, 20, going to be 210, 20, we get 210, 20, going to be 20 until 30, and now 30, we get 5, we get 40, we get 45, now 50, and 55, 55, 55, 60, and now 5, 265, 70, now 5, 75, give 80, and 280, we get 275, 80 there, 280, we get 280, 75, going to be 280, Chris, 275, 3X. Baseball fan to enjoy it. It was fun. $1 pound, 105, and 105 here. Going to be 105, we get 5, 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 now 5 here, 5 here. Going to be 105, and 105 here. Going to be 105, we get 5, we get 5, we get 10. Going to be 110, 15, 20, and 21, 20, now 5, and 25, 25, 25 here. 125 here, and 5 here, 125 here. S 120 on 1. right next door to each other. Looks like they've got like businesses and offices and in it. You know, it looks like there's like they had signs and stuff, like attorneys and. $5 and $105 here. Good to be $105. To get 5. To get 5. To get 5. 5 here. Good 5 here. Good to be 105. Not 10 and 10 and 15. Good to be 15. 23. 121. 21. 25 and 25. 25. 25 here. 125 here. Good to be 125. 25 here. 125 here. 30 and 31. 31. 30 here. 25. 35 and 35. 40. To get 40. To get 40. 35. To get 40. 35. To get 40. Ricardo 135. 9, 7, 9, 9. She needs to go to the vet, get her preg checked, please.
Hey, we need to send some to the vet. She needs pregnant.
$155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here. She's old. She's 5 months here. 155 and 55 and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57 and a half, 60 and 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 70 and a half, 70, 170, 170, 2 and a half, 75 and now 80, 185, 90, 195, $2 a pound, 210 and 210, 220, 220, 230 and 220, 30, 220. 30, mid 20, half 30, half 30 here. Sold 220. What's the name? Navano?
Say it again. L-U-E?
Luvano. Vámonos. Adios, muchacho. 1 by 8. She's a pretty good rip here. 25 and 25. 25 and 25. 27 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 750 and 20. 7 and a half. Good to be 27 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a shear. 27 and a half. And 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 25 and 25. 25 and 25. 20,000. 2100. 21 and 20 and 21. 2100 here. 1 here. 21. 21. 21. 21. 2100. Down 2 and 23 to 3 and 23 to 3 and 23 to 4 and 24 to 5 and 25 and 2500 here. 5 of 5 here. 100 here. 5 here. Going to be 24 to 5 and 2500 here. 5 here. 5 here. So 2400. Ricardo 2. Saturday or Wednesday. Seven years and 7 months, 2100 and 21 and 2100 here, 1 here, 2100 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, top 1 and 2100 here, 1 here, 21, 21, 21, 2 and 22, 22, 22, 22, 21, 2, 2, 2, 21, 2, 3 and 23, 3 and 23, 4 and 23, 4, 5 and 25, 600, 25, going to be 26, 7 and 27, 27 of 8, 27 of 8, 27 of 8, 9, now 9, 9, 28, now 9 and 28, now 9, going to be 29, bit of 9, 28, going to be 900, bit of 9, going to be 9, so 2800 S7. Two by 6 and a 2 by 5, 2100 and 21 and 2100 here, 1 here, 2100 here, 2100 here, 1 here, 1 and 21 2 and 22 3 and 23 3 and 24 now 5 600 and 6 7 and 27 and 7 7 7 7 7 7 800 and 27 going to be 20 800 and 20 here, 9 and 20 here, going to be 900 20 here, 9 20 here, 9 20 here, going to be 900 9 and now 9 and 29 now 3 and 3000 3 3,000. You out of line. 3,000. I get 3. And 25. I get 3,000. Going to be 25. I get 3,000. Going to be 25. I get 3,000. I get 3,000. I get 3,000. I get 3. Sold 2,900. Kevin. We'll just charge it to Kevin. What was the last name? Cressburn. Kretschburn. But if they call. Yeah. 6-year-old open bow, 6 no pun here, 155. Good, good. 165. Has a good five. Has a good 7, 170, 170, 170, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, 750, and 77 of 77 and a half. You're going to be 77 of 80. And now hit it there, 80, 81, 81, 80 here, 80, 80 here, Jace. 177 and a half, 40. Why you got the hiccup? Good. That's what she said a while ago. 9 10s and they're up on here. 135 and 35 and 35 and 35, 35, 37 and 37 and 37 and going to be 40, going to get 5, going to get 50, going to get 5 now 60 and now 2.5, 2.5, 5. Has a good 5 and has a good 5, has a good 5, has a good 5, has a good 7 and 7 and 7 and 70, going to get 70 and 72 and a half, 71, 2, 71, 2, yeah, 71, 2 and 70, get 2 and 2, 3 and 73, get 3, 73, 74, 74, 74 to here, 74 to 5, 75, 600 and 75, 76, 75, 6, 75, get 6, 7 and 77, going to get 77, going to get 77. 76, 7, and 77 to be 77, 77, 77. We're going to be 77 here. So 176, Jace, 30. Kevin, what was your last name? Kretschmer. Kretschmer. Yeah, get on down here, Junior. 10 and open. 135. Yeah, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 40, 2 and a half, and 5, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50, 50, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 250, and 50 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half here, Jason. 150, 30. Wheaties. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57, 50, and now 60, you get 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, you get 70 now, 70, 170, you get 70, and 970, and high, going to be 70, going to be 70, going to be 70, you get 79 here, 70, you get 70 now, 70 down here, no, you're out, 71, 71, 2, 71, 2, 3, 74, D, 173, 2. 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 55, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 60, going to get 2 and a half, 5, and 5, and 3, 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 67 and a half, and 67 and a half, 70, going to get 70, going to get 70, J-Shot 70, and high here going to be 70, going to get 70, going to get 70, now 70, and 70, get 73, going to be 70, going to get 70, going to get 70 here, Bo, 67 and a half, 1. Talked to that guy last night. Not about that pair, but Wednesday. 3,500, 3,900. Dennis. Yeah. Already? 5-year-old, 3,500. 35, yeah, 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 3,500, 35 of 5, and 30, you get 500, 3,500, 3,500, 3,500, and 30, you get 500, good 3,500 here, 3,000, 31, and 31, and 31, 31, 31, 3,100 here, 1, here, 1 here, bull calf, that's high, 3,100, and 2, Doug Jabit, 31, 2, 31, 2, 32, and 3, and 33, you get 3, 33, 33, 32, 33, 4, and 33, you get 4, we're going to be 33, you get 4, we're going to be 33, you get 4, we're going to be 33, now 4, and now 5, and 35, 35. She's pretty good. 3,500 and 35 and 3,500 here. 5 of 5 here. 500, 600 and 35, 6, 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 here. Going to be 3,700 and 37 here. 7 about 37 and 37. Going to get 37. Going to be 37. Going to be 37. Going to be 6, 7 and 37 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 here. Going to be 3,700. Sold her 3,600. Winter Creek. Got another family coming. Remember that black cat? 5-year-old family. 3,000, 3,100, and 31, and 3,100, 3,100, 100, 2, and 32, and 33, and 33, 33, 34, 34, 35, 3,600, and 35, 6, and 35, going to be 3,600, 35, going to be 6 here, 35, 36, 7, and 37, going to get 37, going to be 37, 37, Kevin, you're out, 37, and 7, and 37, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, online, going to be 37, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, here, going to be 3,700, and 37, going to get 37, going to get 37, going to be 37, 700, sold her 3,600, burn 7. Remember that black, you probably don't remember, he is 4,200 for black, 5-year-old, 8 months old, good rip. She's got the coolest little black head. Well, I don't know. She's not too high-headed. Mama's a little high-headed. Mama's a little bit too high-headed for what I want to do. Here's some more, guys. Here's 5-year-old pairs. Look at them good bags, them good babies. 3,100, 31, and 3,100 here, 1, here, 31, 2, 31, 2, and 33, 34, 34, 34, 34, 34, you get 5, and 35, and 35, 600, and 35, going to be 600, 35, going to be 6, 7, and 37, maybe to get 37, maybe to get 30, 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 maybe to get 39, and 39, get 9, and 39, going to be 9 here, going to be 34, and 4,000, maybe to get 4,000, maybe to get 4,000, 41, and 41, 4,100, and 4,100 here, 4,100 here, 4,100 here, so about 4,000 on Kevin. Nice pair, Shane. Oh, 9-year-old. Look at that cow. Bull baby. 35, and 3,500, and 30, 500, 3,500, here, going to be 3,500, here, going to be 3,500, and 35, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 37 a hand, 37 a hand, 7 a hand, 7 a hand, 7 a hand, going to be 3,750, and 35, 600, and 35, going to be 3,600, and 35, going to be 3,600 here, 36, 7 here, 7, 7, 7 of 8, 37 of 8, 37 of 8, 37 of 8, going to be 3,800, and 37, going to be 3,800, 9, and now 9, you get 9, 38, now 9, and 30 here, going to be 900, going to get 30 here, going to be 9 here, 30 here, get 9 here, 38, now 9, and now 9, going to get 9, bit of a 9, the bit of a 9, 3,900, and 30 here, going to get 3,900, going to be 30 here, going to get 900, going to be 30 here, going to get 900, going to get 9 here, sold her 3,800, Ricardo. 2. 3-year-old with baby at side here, 2,500 and 25, 25 and 27 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 3,000, 32 and a half and 31, 3 and 33, 35, 35, 35, 7, 37, 37, 37, 35, 7 and 35, group 7, 35, group 7, 35, group 7, 3,600 and 35, 36 and 35, 3,600, 35, 3,600, 35, group 600 around 7 and 37, 37, 800 and 37, 9, group 9, group 9, 30 and a half, now 9, 30, 900 and 9, 9, 3,900 Burns, 38 and a half, 7. Eight-year-old guys right there here, 3,100 and 31 and 3,100 here, 3,100 here, 31, 31, 31, 31, 32 and 32 and 31, 2 here, 2, 3, 3 and 33 and 33 and 33 and 2, 3 and 33 and 33, 32, 33, 33, 4 and 33, 4, 33, 4, 33, 4, going to be 3,400 and 33, 34, 33, 34. Now 5, 35 online, 3,500 and 35 and 35. And 35, 35, 35, 3,500 here, 5, 5 here, 5 here, 5 and 3,500 here, 5 here, D, 3,400 on 10. Eight years, she's 7 months bred, 2,100 and 21 and 2,100 here, 1 here, and 21, 21, 21, 21 and 2,100 here, 1 here, 1 here, 21, 21, 21 and now 2 and 2, 3 and 23, 4, 24, 5 and 12, 2,600 and 26, 7 and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6 and a half and 26 and a half online, going to be half, 650, 26 and a half here, half here, half and a half here, half here, S, 2,600 on 7. 210, gain, 210, 12 and a half, and 10 and 12 and a half, group 10 and 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, group 20, 2 and a half, got 25, now 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 30, and get 30 there, group 30, get 30, group 30, bit of 30, group 30, then try 30, and 30, get 30 there, group 30, get 30 there, group 30, D, 227 and a half, both. 165 and 65 has a good 7 and 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 67 and a half and 67 that'd be a pretty good wall mount someday. 67 and a half and 7 and a half, 70 now 70 170 172 and a half 72 3 and 72 73 73 74 75 75 75 5 here 74 75 and 74 and 5 here 75 6 here 77 and 77 77 77 77 76 7 and 76 7 here now 77 7 here's on 176 cabin is 3. You gonna put her on your wall, Ty? $35 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37, 50, 40 and a half, 40. You get 2 and a half, 45, 7 and a half, 50 down, 2 and a half, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57, about 60 and down 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and to get 5 and has to get 7 and a half, 70 down, 70, 172 and a half, 72, 3 and 73, 74, 74, 73, 74 and 73, 74 and a 4 here, 73, 74 here, sold 173. Gibbon 2. 135, and 35, you get 35, 40, now 45, now 45, you get 50, you get 5, going to be 60, you get 5, 7 and a half, 70, 100, 70, 170, get 70, and hand here 70, and hand 70, you get 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 71, 71, 2, 71, 2, 3, and 74, 74, 75, 75, 6, 75, 600, and 75, 76, 75, 76, so you're sold 175, cabin is straight. $60 and 5, and $5, and $7, 70, 100, 72 and a half, 75, 77 and a half, 80, 1, 81, 82, 81, 2, and down 2, 3, 84, 83, 4, 83, 84, 83, 84, 83, 4, given 183 on 2. Three before. 6 years, she's 8 months, 2000. 2100 and 2100 here, move on, and 2100 and 2 here, 2 3 and 3 we get 4 and 4 we get 5 and 25 600 and 600 here, 25 50 and 25 of the man, going to be 25 of the man, going to be 2600 and 6 and a half here and a half, now 7 and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 800 here, 2800 and 28 and a half here, 2800, 27 and a half, 800 and 2800 here, so 2750, Lueno. 8 by 5 plus. 165, and 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 75, 77 and a half, 77, and 78, 77, 8 and 9, group 9, you can 81, 82, 83, 84, 84, 5, 85 there, group 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, 85, 84, 85 here, Caddis, 184 on 5. Ten years, she's 6 months, 2100 and 21 and 2100 here, move on, and 2100 here, move on here, 2100 here, I'm on, and 21 and 2100 here, move on, not 2 and 2, we get 3 and 23, we get 3, 4 and 24, 5 and 25, 55 and a half, 5 and a half, 600 and 26 and a half, now 7 and 27, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 2750 and 20, we get 7 and a half, going to be 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and a half here, Chris, 2716. Seven years and 3 months here, daughter 50. 155 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 70, 100, 71, 75, 75, give 81, 85, 85, 91, 91, 95, and 95, 2, now 5, go to 2010, 215, 220, and 20, 30, 230, 40, 240, 50, 250, and 40, 50, 40, 50, 40, 50 here, S, 240, 17. Open count here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 7, 7, 7, 57, 50, 57, 60, and 60, we get 67, 67, going to be 160, and 60, there's 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 62, 50, and 2 and a half, we get 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 2 and a half, Ricardo, 160. 1 by 6. 2,500 and 25, 2,500, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 27 and a half, going to be 25, 600 and 25, going to be 2600 and 26, 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 of 8, 27 of 8, 27 of 8, going to be 2800 and 27, going to be 2800 and 27, going to be 2800, going to be 27, bit of an eighth here, 27, bit of an eighth here, 27, going to be so 2700, Ricardo. $7 years in 4s, right there, here, $1.50. $55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 35, and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 37, going to get 37, 40, now 5, going to get 50, 5, 60, and 55, 60 there, 5, 60, and 55, going to be 60 there, 5, going to be 60, Ricardo, 155. 5 by 7 plus 2,100, 21, 2,100 here, 1,100, and 2,100 here, 2,100 here, 2,101, and 22, and 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 2,200, and now 300, we get 3, and 23, we get 4, and 24, we get 5, and 25, 600, and 25, 6, 7, and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 here, going to be 2,700, and 27, and 27, and 7, 7, 7, 7, about 2,700, and 20, we get 700, going to be 27, and 27 here, total 2,600, Ricardo. $165, and it's a good five, has a good 7 hands, 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 going to be 67 hands, 70, we get 70, we get 70, we get 70, what it? 70, and hand here 70, there, going to be 70, we get 70, we get 70, so 67 and a half, Cavaness 10. 5, and $105 here, go to 105, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, 105, 105, and 10, go to be 110, we get 15, and 20, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, go to be 125, 25 here, 125 here, 125, 5 here, 125, 30, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35, we get 35 here, 135 here, Ricardo, 130 on 9. 8 no punt here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 75, 55, 57 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, 57 hands, 57 hands, 57 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, 57, 60, and hand 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 7 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, 7 hands, going to be 67, 50, and 67 and a half, going to be 67 and a half here, Chris, 165, 15. 65, hands again 5, 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 65, 5, hands again 5 here, hands again 5, hands again 5, hands again 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 hands, 7 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 hands, 60, 160, 2 and a half, now 5, 167 and a half. 167.50 and 67 and a half. Going to be 7 and a half. Now 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. Cavaness 165 on 3. Got a $150 fine if you had bubble gum or sunflower seeds at that tournament we was at yesterday. I ain't kidding. No bubble gum, no sunflower seeds. I don't know. I didn't even try. Didn't ask. It was too cold yesterday for that. 225 and 225 and 25, 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, you bid 25, 7 and a half, 30 and 35 1 and 31, 31, 32, 32, 32, 31, 2, 3, 33, 33 and 4 here, 34 here, 35 and 35 6 and 35 going to be 6 7 here, 7 7 7 7 7 7 here going to be 37 and 6 7 here, 7 7 7 here going to be 7 here, Gibbon and 236 bull 2. Two 25 and 225 and 25 25 25 and 225 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and going to be 227 and a half and 227 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and going to be 27 and going to be 27 and going to be 27 and 9 sort of at 225 Gibbon bull 2. Two ten and 210, 12 to van, 10, 12 to van, group 210, 12 to van, 210, 12 to van, 10, 12 to van, $2, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, get 2 and a half, get 2 and a half, but 2 and a half, get 2 and a half, group 202, 50, and 2 and a half, now 5, and half 5, get 5, get 5, get 5, and 5 here, 7 and a half, and 7, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, group 210, get 210, 7 and group 210, and 7 and group 210, but 10, get 10, but 10 here, cabinets, 2 7 and a half, boo. 125 and 25 and 25, 25, 20, 30 and 25, 30, 25, group 30, 30, 25, 30, 25, 35, 5 here, 35, 40, 40, and 40, 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 35, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 35, get 40, and 35, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, here, Ricardo, 135 on 9. Heavy bred cows coming. Nine by 10. 9 and 10-year-old, they're 7 months. 2,000, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100 here, 1,100 here, 2,100, 1 crippled, 2,100, and 21, and 2,100 here, 1,100, 2, 22, 22, 3, and 23 to hand, 23 to hand, 23, 50, now 4, and 24 to hand, going to be 24 to hand, now 5, and 25 and a half here, 5 of the van, 25 of the van, going to be 2,600, and 25 of the van, going to be 2,600, and 25 of the van, going to be 2,600, 5 of the van, going to be 2,600 here, West, 25, 50 on 7. Nine and 10-year-old cows are 4 and 5 months. 2,100 and 21 and 2,100 here, 1,1 and 21, 21, 21, 50, and down to going to be 52 and a hand, 22 and a hand, 23, 23 and a hand, 23 and a hand, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, and 24, and 24 and a hand, going to be 24 and a half, 5, and 25, 55 and a hand, 25 and a hand, 25 and a hand, going to be 25 and a hand, going to be 25, 50, and 25 and a hand, 5 and a hand, 5 and a hand, going to be 25 and a hand, a bit of a half here, going to be 25 and a half here, S, 2,500, 17. 8 to 10s are all open. 135 and 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. Hit 35 and 35, 37. Going to be 40. Going to get 5. Going to get 50. 55. About 60 and half 62 and a half. Going to get 2 and a half 5 and 65. 7 and a half. 7 and a half. 70. 170. 171. 72 and a half. 72 and a half 5 and 73. 74. 74. 45 and 75. 75. 76 quarter and 75. 76 and 75. Goes 76 quarter. 75. 76 here. 75. 76 quarter and 75. 76 here. Jace 175. 40. Two cripples. That'll be it. 105 and 105 here. Going to be 105. Going to get 5. 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 5 here. 105. 10. Going to be 10 and 15 and 20 and 25 and 25. 25. 25 here. 25 here. 25 and 25. 5 5 here. 125 here. 125 5 here. Best 120 on 4. I'm here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 60, now 2.5, now 5, and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 70, and hand here 71, and 70, 72, 72, 72, 3, and 73, 74, 74, 73, 74, 73, 74, and 73, get 4, and 73, 74, 4 here, 73, 74, 74, 73, 74, 73, 74 here, S, 173, put them on 2. Are they? All right, guys, I guess we'll take a little break and when they get caught up, huh? Short break. Yes, sir. Heifer, okay. Well, let me know when he comes in. Thank you, Dennis. did. That's all right. Get back to work, guys. 9-year-old here, 155. 55, 55, 57, 57, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2.5, now 5, 65, 65, and 7 and 70, going to get 70, now 2.5, 70 and 2.5, and 70 and 2.5, 70, going to get 2.5, 70 and 2.5, 72.5, 5, and 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 77.5, and 77.50, and now 80 there, 80, 180, 180 there, 80 here, Jace, 177.50, 40. Old cow, 35, and 35, 40 here, 35, 40 here, 35, 40 here, 35, 40, 40, 40, we get 35, 40, and 35, 40, we get 35, 45 here, 45, 55, 55, 50, and 45, we get 50, John, you're at 55, and 55, 60 here, 55, 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65 here, 5 here, 65 here, 5 here, that's 167. Is that him, Dennis? He's got papers on this bull, guys. He said he's a very good heifer bull. If anybody needs one, he's got the papers over there. So there's used it for the heifers, on the heifers, guys. Has he been trick tested? He did semen testing, but he'll have to be trick tested, guys. But we're going to weigh the bull, and if you need those papers, go see Dennis over there. $2 a pound, $2.05, and $2.05, and $2.05, we get 5 and 10, going to be 210, 15, 210, 15, 20, and 225, going to be 225, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 here, going to be 225, and 225 here, 30, and 235, we get 35, 40, we get 240, and 35, 40, 40, 40, 240, and 245, we get 45, going to be 245, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45 here, 45, 50, 250, 250, 250. $2.50 a pound, $45.50, and 45, we get 50, and 45, we get 50, we get 50, we get 45, we get 50 here, Jace, $2.45X.
We don't do that here.
But he says you have to do
There's a bunch of them rules and regulations, Jace, that I don't really agree with or know how to go about it. Okay. Yes. Sure. Pin him with the 30s. Gotcha. Gotcha. Big old meat wagon, isn't he? 220. 210, 210, 12 and a half, and 10 and 12 and a half, group 10 and 12 and a half, group 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, 17, bit over that here, going to be 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half here, count us to 15 bull. Oh, 155, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, group 70, 55, group 80, 55, group 90, 95, 95, 92, and 95, 205, and 205 here, and 5, 10, group 210, 210, group 210, now 7.5, and 7 and 10, 210, 210, 210, and 7 of them, group 10, group 10, group 10, group 10, group 10, group 10, group 210 here, give him 207 and a half, 2X, bull 2X, bull 2X. He's steered, $1.55, 55 here, and 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 55, 60 there, 5, 60, 5, 65, and now 70, 70, 170, Antone, you're out, 75, and 75, give 80, 80, 80, 80 here, 75, 80, and 75, 80, 80, 80 there, 80 here, Bo, 175, 1. 165, and 65, 70, 175, now 80, 75, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, 80, 85, 80, 85, here's on 180, Gibbon Bull, 2X. Whiteham, 185, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 75, and 75, 50, 70, 75, 80, 82 and a half, 85, 85, 87, 87, 87 and a half, 87, 90, and 92 and a half, 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 5, and 95, 97 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 97 and 2, and 97 and a half, 2, 2 and a half, and 2, 2 and a half, 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 5, and 2 and a 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5 here, Gibbon, 202 and a half, Bull 2. 210, and 210, 12 of the van, group 10, 12 of the van, group 10, and 12 of the van, group 10, and 12 of the van, group 10, 12 of the van, group 10, and 12 of the van, group 2 of the 15, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and 17, bit of life here, group 17 and a half, 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 here, sort of a 2, 15, Gibbon Bull 2. Ten-year-old, she's 6 months along, 2100 and 21 and 2100, 2100, 2 and 23, and 23, and now 4, now 5, now 6, and 25 of the 600, and 25 of the group 2600, and 25 of the group 2600, 5 of the group 2600, here's all 2550, Chris 16. Eight years and 3 months, 165, and 65, 7 and a half, 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 70, 70, and 2 and a half, 75, and 75, 77 and a half, 80, and down 2 and a half here, 85, 87, group 87, 90, and 192 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and 95, 97 of 97, group 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and 2 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, group 210, 15, 210, 15, sold, 210, S, 17. 4 years old, she's 3 months bred, 2100 and 21, if 100, if 100, 2100 and 2, and 22, and 3, and 4, and 23, 23, 400, and 24, and 23, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, now 5, 25, 600, and 6, 7, and 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 7, here, going to be 2700, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, by 27 here, Chris, 2600, 3. Chris, 3. 10 by 8, 10 years, 8 months, 2100, and 2100 here, 1 and 1, and 2100 here, 2100 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, and 20 down 2, group 2, 3 and a half, 3 and 4 and a half, 5, now 6, and 25 out of half, 2600, and 25 out of half, group 2600 here, sold 2550, Chris 16. Roy, was Terry at? Where's Terry? Where is Terry? Where? Graduation. Four-year-old cow here, 185, 85, 90, 85, 90, 85, 90, 85, 90, 85, 90, 90, 190, 190, 75, 80, and 75, 85, 85, 85, Boyart 90, and 90, 190, 185, 90, 85, 90, 185. 65. And 65. Has a good 7.5, 70, 70, going to be 2.5, now 5, now 7.5, now 80, now 2.5, now 2.5, 5, 85, 3, 4, 84, 5, 85, Chicago, 87, 87, 87, 87, here, 87, here, 87, here, given, 186, 2, 186, given 2. Is that your high cal right there, 186?
Yeah.
184 down there at the bottom of 1. 225 and 225 and 25, 25, 25, 30 and 25, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30, 30, now 35, 35, 40, 40, 40, now 245 and 45, 50, 50, 50, 55 and 55, 60 and 265 has a good 70, 275, 275, 80 and 280 there, 80, 80 here, 80, 80 here, Chris, 275, 7X. 4 years and 3 months here, 2100 and 21 and 21 and 20 and 21, 21, 22, we get 3, we get 4, we get 5, go to be 600 and 7 and 27 of 8 now 9, we get 9, 28, go to 900, we get 9 and 28, 9 and 2900 and 28, go to 900, we get 9, bit of a 9, 2900 here, Chris, 2800, 3. I heard 25, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, we get 30, we get 5, we get 40, and 35, 40, and 35, 40, and 35, 40, 40, 40, we get 40, we get 40, and 40, you get 40, and 5, we get 45, 50, and half 50, and 50, 45, we get 50, 45, we get 50, top row, you're all out, 150, and half 45, we get 50, we get 50, and 50, half 5, and half 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and half 65, and 65, 70, 170, 170, sold 165, Ricardo. All his joints has got. He needs knee replacements. All around. Never seen that. $1. $10 and $100, could be 110, could be 110, could be 110, 20, could be 20, we get 30, we get 40, we get 40, and 40, $50, 50, 150, and 40, 50, $1.40, we get 50, we get 50, 40, 50, 50, we get 50, we get 50, 50, there, could be 140, we get 50 here, S, 140, 3. I was just about to say, looks like he's got arthritis. $230, $231, and 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, out the gate, 31, and 30 here, 31, 31, 31, 31, we get 31, we get 31, 231, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, here, Debo, 230. Debo. Is that webworms? Little Boo, 225, and 225, and 25, 25, 25, 25, now 30, and 25, we get 30, we get 5, we get 40, we get 5, we get 45, 45, 55, and 55, 55, 60, and 265, now 65, 70, 275, and 75, 75, 75, give 80 there, 80, 280, and 75, 80, 80, 80 here, 75, good to be 80 here, 80, Buckhorn, you bid, 280, T-bid, 85, 90, 295, 3, 305, 10, 310, 15, 20, 320. Bo, 315, 1. Thank you, Antone. There you go. 10-year-old, she's 8 months bred. 2,500 and 25, and 25, and 25, 25, 25, 50, and 20, 25, 25, 600, and 6 and a half, now 7, and 7, and 7, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7, 800, and 2,800, 800 and a half, 9, and now 9, you get 9, now 9, bit of a 9, going to be 2,900, 8 and a half, going to be 29, bit of 900, going to be 2,900, going to be 2,900, going to be 29, bit of 9, Chris, 20, 8 and a half, 16. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 7, 55, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 50, and 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 50, and 57, 57, 60, and down 2.5, 5, and 5 here, now 5, 7.5, and 67.5, and 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 67.5 here, Chris, 165, same weight. $3. $3.05 and $3.05. We get 5 here. 5 here. 5 here. Go to 305 and 3.05. We get 5. We get 3. We get 5 now 3. We get 5 now 3. We get 5 now 3.5 now 5. 305 and 3.05 now 5 here. 10 here. 10 down 10 15 and 15 20 and 20 get 20 there. Go to 20 get 20. But yeah 320 and now 5. Go to 325 and 25 25 25 here. 5 here. Bow 320 on 1. 55, 55, 55, 55, 75, 55, 57. There he is, 57 and a half, and 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 60, and 2 and a half. Now 5, 7 and a half, now 7 and a half, and 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half. John, you're at 70, and down here 72 and a half, 75, and 75, 77 and a half, 77, 50, and 77 and a half here, 77 and a half here. Jace, 175, 30. 10 10 cheese off on 35. And 35. You give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, and 35, 40. You get 5, you get 50, you get 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, and 55, and 55, 5, and 55, 5 S. 153. Big cow here, 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 60, and 2.5, 5, and 65, and 65, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 70, 170, 170, 170, and 73, 70, now 1, and 71, 71, 2, 72, 73, 73, 73, you get 3, and 2, 3, and 73, you get 3, and 2, you get 3, and 3, and 3, tied you at 3, 72.5. Sold 172, given 2. You give a quarter. He's trying to sell the one he didn't even pay for yet.
He might have 250 heifers. He might need a truck.
That's yours, Dusty? Okay, thank you. One more pair. Might need a truck, huh? Yep. 65. As a get 5, 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 7, 70, 172, 75, 77, group 80, 2, group 85, 87, 87, 90, and 92, 92, 92, 50, and 92, 2, group 92, 2, 1, 3, and 93, 3, and 93, 5, and 95, 95, 95, 95, John, 95, and 93, 5, 93, 5, 93, 5, 5 here, Cavaness, 193, bull. $65. And a good five. Has a good 70, 75, and 77, good 80. And now 80, John Ryan 80, 81, 82. And now to 81, 81, 81, 81, 81, Cavaness 180. 3. Cavaness 3. Nine-year-old, look at here. She raised you a couple than that one she's got, don't she? 3,000. 32 and a half, and 32.50, and 32 and a half, group 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 32.50, and 31, and 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, and 3,100, here, 1, here, hold your gate, 3,100, and 3,100, here, 1, here, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, and 3,100, here, you may split them? Let's split them. $1.65 on a cow, 165. 65, and a good one, has a good one, has a good one, has a good one, that's fine, has a good one, 61, 161, has a good one, 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 51, 151, 151, 151, and 50, 51, here, 50 and a half, 1, here, 30, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 40, 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half. Sold 140. Ricardo 9. Sell that calf. 700. 750. 800. 900. 910. 110. 1100. 1100. 1,000. What about 1050? That help you? 1050. 1050. You 10 and a half here. Half here. Middle of half here. Group 10 and a half. 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 Ricardo 1,000 on 7. I don't know if that's any good or not. Here's Dusty's pair.
28.62.
It's a good bull calf. 3,000. 31 and 31 and 31. You go on 31, 31, 31, 31, 3100 and 31. Going to be 2 and 32, 33, 33, 34, 34, 34, 34, 33, 4 and 33, 50 and 33 and a half. Going to be 33 and a half. Going to be 3400 and 3400, 34 and 34 to 400. Going to be 34. Going to be 33 and a half. 4 and 34, 34, 34, 34, 34 and 3400. Going to get 34. Going to get 34. Going to get 34 here. So 33 and a half. Chris 7. Thank you, Dusty. Sell that 3-year-old, guys. 225. 225, 30, and 25, 30, and 25, going to be 30, then 230, and 230, we're going to get 230, 235, and 35, 35, 35, 40, we're going to get 240, 240, yeah, Chris, 240, and 40, 40, 40, 240, 40, 245, and 45, 50, we're going to get 50, 10, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 260 pound, 260, and 55, 60, there, going to be 60, there, going to be 60, 1, 255. Sell that calf, 500. Buy them and love them. 500, 600. 600 and 5 600 and 5 600 5 600 5 going to be 600 and now 700 700 800 800 800 800 800 online going to be 750 750 and 7.5 here now 800 800 8 and a half 850 850 and a half 8 and a half Austin you're out 850 850 50 and a half 8 and a half 8 and a half 850 850 50 and a half 8 and a half Winter Creek $800 Winter Creek 800
She's a foundation by 905.
Thank you, Dustin. Six-year-old, 65. 65 and 65 7.5 7.5 7 72 and a half 72 and a half 75 75 75 75 and 75 here 75 50 77 and a half now 80 2 and a half S 180 4 3 it's all right 2-year-old family, 35. 35 and 35. You go about 35, 35, 37 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, going to be 3750 and 30, going to get 7 and a half, going to be 37 and a half, going to get 3500 and 35 and 35. You go about 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 3600 and 36.7 and 37, going to get 37, 36.7 and 7 to 800, going to get 30, going to get 38, 37, 800 and now 9 and now 9, going to get 9, 30, going to get 9, 30, going to get 9, 4 and 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. Chris 3,900 8 5-year-old guys, I'm gonna split them. 5-year-old cow right there here, 165 and 65 and 65 and 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 70, and 2 and a half, 75, 75, 75, 75, 175, 50, and 80, and now 85 here, 90, 100, 91, 91, 91, 91, 91, 90, and 90 here, 190 here, 190 here, 190 here, 185, 21, Sell the calf. 500. 5.5 and 5.5. Group 650 and a half. 700. 7.5. 7.5. 800. 8.5. 9 and 9.5. 9.5. 950 and 9.5. 9.5. 9.5. Group 1,000. Group 1,050 and 10.5. 10 and a half here. 10 and a half. 10 and a half. 1050 and 10 and a half here. Half here. Bit of a half here. Group 10 and a half. 10 and a half. Group 10 and a half. Group 1050. Ricardo 7. 1,000's of money.
Clay Allison. Only reason I know that because her damn tattoo. I was like, who the hell's Clay Allison? You just start wearing long sleeves. My dad he makes me wear long sleeves now since he saw my tats. You wear long sleeves around me now. She gets mad at me. I'm just Allison.
Just.
Allison.
Well, she lost a lot of money. She was ours. She was going to end up being ours. Tell you later. $5. 105. Thank you for your business, young man. 105. 105. And 105 here. Good 105. Good 5 and 10. Good 10. Good 15. Good 20. Good 5. Good 30. Good 5. Good 40. And 45. And 45. 45. 45. 45. 45 here. So 140. Ricardo. Didn't match up at home. Balling on, balling. Was it hit?
Pretty sure.
What you got left?
Once we get out from under the shed, there's about full lots.
Any more baby calves? I did. Is there? Why don't you come over and put my wife's car in the garage when I was gone? It's my fault now. 'Cause I left town. I don't give a shit about my truck.
You didn't put the car in.
Wow, I didn't know there was going to be no... Oh.
Was it?
Let her out. Let her out.
Hey, I'll tell him when he can.
What's wrong with her? She don't see good. 125. 130, 25, and 25, 30, and 25, and 30, and 30, 130, 135, 35, 35, 40, 40, 140, and 35, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, and 40, 140, 140, 140. Them eyes worth that much money? 140? 140? Sold 135. Ricardo 9. Good thing I don't work for him. Tuesday. Tuesday. Yeah. Send that. Sell them tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna kill this one and sell it tomorrow.
I know. I got just a buyer in mind for tomorrow. He'll be here. We'll keep him express blue intact.
Might be worth something one of these
By God, he might. 500. 550 and 505. It'll get 600. 6.5. Gonna be 7. Gonna be high. Gonna be high. Gonna be high. It'll get 9. Gonna be high. Gonna be 950. 10 and 1000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,050 and 10 and 11. 11 S. Oh, 1,100.
That's 0.
Yeah, ham. 10 or 12. Are they still working cows? 500. 550 and 5.5, 600 and 6.5, going to be 7, going to be half, going to be 800, 8.5, 8.5, 950 and 9.5, going to be 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 here, 1,000, 1,000 here, 950. Ricardo 7. Kids must be getting out of school. We got a little summer project. Keeping them in the barn all summer. Yep. Oh, yeah. You got that nurse cow. I forgot about her. Yeah. $120. 125 and 25 and 25, 25, 25, 25 here, 125, we get 30, we get 5, we get 40, we get 40 and half, 40 and half, 35, 40 and 35, 40, we get 40, we get 40, we get 40, going to be 40, we get 40, we get 40 here, Ricardo 135 on 9. Ford upon $2 now 5 and 2.5 we get 5 and 5 here 5 we get 5 we get 5 we get 5 we get 5 here 5 here go to 205 and 205 and 205 here 5 here 5 here 180 185 85 here 85 there 95 and 95 we get 2 and 95 we get 2 and 205 and 205 here 5 here bow 1 $2. I'm going to sell choice one time only. You can buy one, you can buy two, you can do a clean sweep and get all three. 500, 600, now half, 7, half, 8, half, 9, half, 10, 1,000, half, 11, half, 12, 1,200. He's going to take them all. 12, 1150, Ricardo 7. He takes the big one. Okay. You're going to get the two small ones, guys. They're two little heifer calves, I think. So much a piece times 2. 200. 2.5, we get 3.5, and 3.5, we get 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, we get 550, and 5.5, going to be 600, and 5.5, going to be 6.5. Now 7, and 7.5, 7.5, 7, 800, 800, 8.5, now 9, and 900, we get 950, and 9.5, 9.5, we get 950, and 9.5, we get 9.5, we get 9.5, we get 9.5, going to be 950, and 950, 50, 9.5, we get 9.5, we get 9.5, going to be 950 here, so about 900. Ricardo 7. No, for what? No. I gotta have a weight. No, you don't. You think the office goes not? Then tell them that John Cooper said it doesn't matter.
Trying to get her to bad mood and send her home with me.
It wouldn't matter. Just make up a weight.
Yeah. What you want to do? You're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you can shut your gate. You don't have to do that.
You sure John Cooper said that?
You gotta say it that way. John Cooper. No. Ryan. 155 and 55 and 55, 55, 55. I might need a new clerk next week. 155 and 55 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55. She's mad at me. 155 and 55 and 55 and 55, 35 and 35, 40, 135, 45, 45, 50, 50, 50, 155 and 55 here, 55, 2.5, 7.5, 60, now 5, and 165, and 5 here, 165, sold 160, Lueno. She's done. Be taking applications after the sale tonight. 10-year-old, 135, and 35, you go about 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, going to be 37.50, and 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, and a half, 40, 42 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, 42.50, and 40, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 40, going to get 2 and a half here, Chase, 140, 40. Ten years and she's 5 months bred. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 60, and 60 there. 5, going to be 60, 5, and 65, both house 70, 170, John, you're out 70, 170, tag number. Y'all see your tag number? 170. Now 2.5. Now 5, 7.5. Cabinet's 175.5. Better luck next week, Kelsey. 65, and 65, 70, now 72 and a half, and 72.50, and 72 and a half, going to be 70, now 2 and a half, going to be 70, going to get 2 and a half here, Jace, 170, 40. 55, 55, you got 55, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2 and a half, going to get 5, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 70, and 70, get 70 there, 70, 250, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75 here, so 172 and a half, Cav 10. $55, 55, 55, 55, 75, 60, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 70, 170, 102 and a half, 75, 75, 77 and a half, 80, and 2 and a half, 83, 5, 83, 85, 83, 84, 4, 5, 85, 86 order, 86 order, 85, group of 6, cabinets, 185, 3. Call yet, have you? See?
Pissed your wife.
My wife's
You got mine pissed off. You got Kelsey pissed off. Yeah, I gotta wait to see what you do in the office.
I'm gonna go around.
You'll be able to tell your bad luck.
$2.05 and 205. Gonna get 5 here. 5. Gonna get 5. Gonna get 5. 10. Gonna be 10. Gonna be 20. Then 220. 30 and 225. 30 and now 35. Gonna get 35. 35. 235 and 35 here. 5 here. Gonna be 235 here. 5 here. Chris 230. 3x. $2.50 or $1.50. 155 and 55 and 55, 60, 55, 70, 55, 75, 85, 85, 90, 190, 5, 90, and 90, 190, 190, 190, 185, 1. $1 pound. 105 and 105 here, good to be 105 here, good to be 105 here, good to be 105, to get 5, to get 5, to get 5, to get 5 here, now 10 and 10 and 15 here, 115, 20 and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 20 there, 125, 25 and 5 here, 125 here, 125 here, 125 from here to here, you're at 125, 25 here, 125 here, Burns, 120 on 1. Three years, and she's 7 months, 2,100 and 21 and 2,100 here, 2,100 here, 1 and 2,100 here, 2 and 23 and 23 and 4 and 24 and 5 and 25, 600, 25, 50, 25, what about had 25, 50 and 25 and a half here, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 600 and 26 and a half here, half here, Austin, you're out 26 and a half, you're 26 and a half, 7 and 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 700 and 20, 700, going to be 2,700 here, 2,700 here, Austin, 26 and a half, Pettingill. $65. Has a good 5. Has a good 5. Has a good 5. Has a good 5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. 70. And down here 70. There going to be 70. 72 and a half. And 72 and a half. 72 and a half. 71. And 70. 71. 71. 71. 71. 71. 71. 71. 71. S. 172. $55, 55, 55, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 60, and 2 and a half, 5, now 65, 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 75, 75, 75, and 75 here now, 3, 74, 73, 74, 5, and 75 here, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, cabinets, 174, 10. Five and a punt here, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 60, going to get 2 and a half, going to get 5, going to be 7 and a half, going to be 70, now 2 and a half, 75, 73, 5, 7, and 78, now 9, now 80, now 80, and 9, 81, $81 here, 81 here, 1 here, so 180, given 2. Nine-year-old cow here, 125. Yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30, 25, 30, 25, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, going to be 30, down, 30 here, so 125, Ricardo 9. Bad eye. Cherry eye, 120. 125, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 5 here, 125 here, daughter, 105, 105 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, going to be 105 here, 5, 5 here, 5 here, Burns, $1 on number 1. $3. $2. 210 and 210, 20 and 210, 20. Going to be 20. Going to get 30. Going to get 40. Going to get 50. Going to be 60. 260 and 50, 60, 70, 270. Going to get 270, 60, 70 and 270. Going to be 70. Going to get 70. Going to get 70. Going to be 70. Going to get 70. Going to get 70 here. So about 260. Bow 1. You got anything on the north side?
He was kind of crippled. Was there something wrong with your steer?
All right, guys. Thank y'all for being here. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the a.m. Y'all have a good day.